Kathleen Edwards. Have you seen your attorney?
I'm sorry?
You have an attorney?
Yes, sir.
Have you seen him?
No. He's not here. He's on Zoom.
He's in South Florida.
All right. Kathleen Edwards, state's motion.
Yes, Your Honor. The state is requesting at this time that there be an order directing the defendant to post a new bond. Looks like it's set to expire, or in the event that she does not post the bond, that she surrender herself at this time.
Mr. Aguilar?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'd like a few moments to be heard so the court can have a complete picture for this critical decision. Will the court allow me to proffer to the court some important facts?
Sure, of course.
Oh, and I appreciate that, Judge. Thank you, and thank you for accommodating me through this computer experience. While the initial bond was warranted, this one is not. In fact, it's my very strong position that requiring her to go back into jail and post a bond is not only unnecessary, but would be tantamount to cruel and unusual punishment solely because of the very unique circumstances of this case. If this was any other manslaughter case, I've handled many, I wouldn't take this position. This case is different. Ms. Edwards is 38 years old. She has no prior arrests other than the instant case. She was moved and outraged by what occurred during September 11th, 2001 on our soil. So she committed in her junior year of high school to join the military. In 2003, as soon as she graduated from high school, she fulfilled her commitment and went and joined the U.S. Air Force. She immediately went into the boot camp. In 2005, within 2 years of her being in the Air Force, she was raped by an airman in her dorm. She was the third person who he had raped. She reported the incident to her supervisors. Nothing was done. He raped 2 more after her. In 2006, she was deployed to Iraq, where a convoy accident occurred after her unit was attacked. She experienced a traumatic brain injury. During the same deployment, she suffered multiple brain injuries. After the military, she got her Bachelor's of Science from the University of Potomac in D.C. in management with a concentration in government contracting. She worked as a government contractor in the Pentagon, as well as the FBI and the J. Edgar Hoover building. But she wasn't doing well, Judge. She was suffering from extreme PTSD. Her health only worsened. Literally at work, frequently, she suffered panic attacks. She passed out numerous times. She was unfortunately unable to continue her career. She nevertheless, though, did do a great deal of community service work, especially to help other veterans. In 2010, she met her husband at a VA hospital in Virginia. Her husband was in the Army for 8 years. He also suffered from PTSD. He was a combat medic. Most of his career, he was in combat. They got married in 2016. This was the love of her life. In 2017, they had her daughter, Catalina, who is now 6 years old. This month, she'll turn 7. They got pregnant again with their second child, their son Gregory, in 2019. While 9 months pregnant, literally days before delivering Gregory, her husband had a psychotic break, and that led police to arrest him. December 10, 2019, her husband, the love of her life, the father of her children, died in Brevard County Jail while in sheriff's custody. 9 days after her husband dies, she delivers her son without her husband. That was December 19th, 2019. 2 days after delivering her son, 2 days, Judge, she buries her husband at a national cemetery on December 21st, 2019. The death of her husband, as you can imagine, was devastating. It sent her into a downward spiral. She literally could not eat. She couldn't sleep. She was unable to breastfeed. She was a mess. About a week or so before the drowning that led to the charges in this case, a major event occurred that further traumatized her. Her neighbors, the Vasquezes, who just testified in deposition just a couple weeks ago with the state present, testified that they are a military family, just like my client is, and they saw one of their own in need. Their purpose in moving into her home was to look after Kathleen and her children because my client was not fully capable of doing it herself. She generously, my client did, accepted the gift and welcomed the Vasquezes into her home to look after her and her children. They stayed with my client around the clock, caring for her and her kids. They were there at her home approximately 4 days before the tragedy, until the morning of the tragedy, when her mother came into town from D.C. on June 27th, 2020. She said, who are these Vasquez? Who are these people? Why are they here? We don't need them. My client argued with her mother, Mom, I need them. I can't do it. I can't handle it. The mother insisted that if she was going to stay, that she needed to kick the Vasquezes out. So the Vasquezes were asked to leave, as the mother accepted responsibility to look after the kids and said, I can care for them. 1 hour later, Judge, as the Vasquezes left the home, they had been in for 4 days around the clock, the tragedy occurs. Her son Gregory found his way into the pool and died. In this case, Judge, my client initially posted a $25,000 bond, but she borrowed money for the 10%. She doesn't have it. She has been exemplary, abiding by all the terms and conditions over the past 3 years. She's been the perfect client, Judge, participating, always available. At the court's request, she is in that courtroom right there. She drove in from Pittsburgh with her uncle. It took her 16 hours to get there. Her 6-year-old daughter is dependent upon her, and she drove, candidly, primarily because she can't afford the airplane ticket. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do to order the deposition transcripts. She's in treatment 3 times a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at the VA hospital, and has multiple doctor's appointments throughout each of those 3 days. She's being treated for PTSD and depression. Her daughter, she takes to group therapy on Tuesday evenings because her child is struggling with losing her parent and struggles with grief. Kathleen survives on a disability payment check that she received from the military. That's it. She's unable to work because of her condition and the amount of treatment that she gets 3 days a week. She's unable to post a bond. She literally borrowed money from family members for the initial bond. She's in debt because of my legal fee, which I drastically reduced. And in close, Your Honor, I want to emphasize, it's not overstated for me to say it would be cruel and unusual under these circumstances to take someone who suffers in the manner that my client does as a result of serving our country and what she went through, to put her back into jail. It doesn't matter how long it'll take, theoretically, if she's even able to post a bond, but to get her out. And the other thing, Judge, it's not lost on me, that she'd be going, she brought this up candidly, that she'd be forced to go back into a jail that, again, she believes is responsible for her husband's death.
Can I ask you what's left to do in this case? It's a 21 case, and I see that it's still in docket signing. What's the holdup at this point?
We're getting close to it, Judge. I've been waiting to speak with the prosecutor about the depositions. It took many months before the prosecutor could set a date for those depositions. Her schedule is very busy, I understand that. She's in trial now. She said that she'll contact me during one of her breaks, hopefully, so I can see what her feelings are after the Vasquezes and her mother testified about her condition and about how they were the ones.
How long ago was that? How long ago was that last deposition?
Literally just was
Say
it 2
again,
weeks
how long
ago?
ago?
So it was very recent. I'm not great with time, just ask my wife. I would say 2 weeks ago, maybe?
Okay.
No,
Has an offer been made?
and so that's just, I've never had an offer,
We
Judge.
haven't spoken about an offer yet. I have
Certainly
an
none
offer
post
formulated in my mind, Your Honor,
deposition.
that I have not spoken to him
I can't
about.
hear Ms. Babbitt, she's speaking.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I have an offer, I haven't related to defense as of yet, Your Honor. I need to speak with one other person in reference to that offer prior to giving that, and I was gonna talk to him sometime. As I told him during the lunch break hour, during this homicide trial, that I would be able to reach out to him.
And are there any depositions currently scheduled?
I don't believe there are any. We took some of the more important witnesses first off, Your Honor, to kind of get a better understanding basis. But depending on the offer that I give, if they don't like that offer, I would imagine they're going to proceed forward with more depositions, because I don't think anything else has been done besides those.
Who else needs to be deposed, counsel?
I don't know offhand without looking at the discovery. I don't know that there would be that many depositions, Judge. I think we'd be, one thing that has not been argued is we would set the motion to dismiss. I believe the case law supports a dismissal. Every scenario that my client is accused of doing, that led to the appellate court's finding that it was.
This case is over 3 years old. The only way I'm going to let her stay out without a bond and turn it into ROR is if I move the case to counter call May 1st. It's struggling too long. We need to move the case along. So what I'm going to do is, you're in Pittsburgh, is that what I heard?
Yes, sir.
All right, yeah. Assume you're planning on going back.
Yes, sir.
All right. You'll be allowed to remain out on an ROR bond. Any restrictions the state wants on that? I know that she hasn't had any issues since she's been out on bond.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Fine,
I
anywhere.
haven't had any issues since she's been out.
Okay, so we'll go counter call May 1st, whatever you got to do, get it done, and we'll go from there. You'll remain out on bond, stay in good contact with your attorney. The next court hearing we have is the counter call May 1st, and you may appear via Teams, just like he's doing. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Eilish, any questions?
Just to thank you, I'm extremely grateful, and thank you to Ms. Babb, who hopefully, I know it's rough when you're in a trial, but at any point you can contact me, like you said you might, just so we can talk this through, so I know where we're going. If we can't work it out, then it's got to be, I got to set the motion to dismiss, and then we got to go to trial.
Wait and sign your paperwork, okay? All right, thanks, everyone.
Judge, thank you. Judge, I can't see you, but because of the video the way it is, but I thank you very much. I'm extremely grateful.